St. James.
Andrew, what was the appeal in signing with the Red Wings?
I think it's just kind of growing my game and having a good opportunity along with a really good young team. I think that from what I've seen, it's very similar to the teams I played on in Winnipeg and New York, where you kind of go from out of the playoffs and then all of a sudden you're a contender. So I feel like there's a lot of really good pieces here, and I think today with a bunch of the additions, it's an exciting time and just ready to take the team to the next level.
That was going to be my follow-up. Do you sense with all the signings that Steve did make today, that he kind of really sent the message, this team's coming out of the rebuild and he wants you to be a part of that? Yeah,
definitely. I think that was a big draw. I think, being a leader on and off the ice and kind of being able to impact any situation is kind of, my strengths. And I think, along with some of the guys that have won or, been in the finals like Sherrod and Perron. And so I'm really excited about the additions today. And I think that, we're definitely poised to take a big step this season.
Lastly, how much of family do you still have in the area?
Yeah, a lot. Both my parents, brother, cousins, aunt, uncle, grandparents. So, there'll be probably some big Copp contingents at the games now.
Thank you.
Max Boltman.
Andrew, I'm curious, did you have a feel for how many moves they were going to make today when you signed? Did you know they were going to go for Sherrod and Perron and all that?
I saw Sherrod at a wedding about 10 days ago, and we were kind of just joking around, and kind of the full market hadn't really kind of set out. We hadn't really had those deeper conversations yet, but kind of joked about it. And then, but otherwise, I honestly had no idea how many guys he was going to add. Felt like he would do a few more, but to the extent that he did today, I think just kind of shows the belief that he has in the group and the guys that he's adding, and feels like there's, the next step is ready to be taken.
And then when you had your conversations with Detroit, I imagine they see you as a center. Was that part of the conversation at all?
Yeah, I think for the most part, I think Steve really likes, my versatility, being able to play any of the 3 forward positions and kind of impact the game, both special teams. I've been playing on a checking line before and playing in a real scoring role as well. So I think just the versatility is probably his biggest thing, but I think definitely in the beginning, probably start off in the middle.
And then last thing for me, what did you personally get out of that long playoff run that you guys went on in New York?
I think you learn a lot of little lessons along the way, and, being down 2-0 to Carolina and down 3-1 to Pittsburgh, about how to just kind of stay in the fight mentally. But you just, it's such a tough road, and you gotta enjoy it while it's happening, but not take it for granted. There's been to the conference finals twice in my first 7 years. And, I definitely don't want those to be the only 2 times. So it's a long, hard road, but it's so worth it in the end.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Ed Colfin.
Hey, Andrew, how do you explain the offensive surge here in the last year or two?
I think I've just continued to improve on my game. I think I've gotten a lot better over the years, and felt like it was always kind of in there. It just kind of wasn't really something I was asked to do too much, whether it was, playing in a checking role or, concentrating on the defensive side or the PK. So, definitely worked on my game a lot, and, with some production, and then comes confidence, and it just kind of snowballs. So, feel like I still have areas to get better and still have room to improve. So looking forward to getting back to work and doing that, and hopefully it can improve upon, the last couple of years.
You kind of alluded to it, but does this kind of remind you of the Winnipeg and the Rangers here the last couple of years, just the way they're kind of toward the end of a rebuild or whatever?
Yeah, definitely. I think, the year we went to the conference final in Winnipeg, the year before, we missed the playoffs by like 6 games. And, all of a sudden the next year, we were kind of a powerhouse and had the second best record in the league. So, that change happened so quickly. And same thing with the Rangers this year. They kind of went from, a team that wasn't really projected to make the playoffs to being in the conference final and up 2-0. So against the former champs. So you never really know when that jump's going to be there, but I feel like I got a lot of faith in where this team's headed, and a lot of the young talent that's come up through the last couple of years. And then obviously the guys that have been here, like Larkson, Bertuzzi, feel like we got a good group and just kind of ready to take the next step, like I said.
The last one, is it still kind of crazy that you own the state passing record in a single game or what?
I don't think it's mine anymore. I think someone's passed it, but I knew there was going to be some football comments today.
Okay, were you, so it's probably an old bit, but how, were you considering football at all too, or what? I mean,
A little bit, but I broke my collarbone my senior year, and I just kind of felt like that was kind of the end of it. If I had kind of continued on and had a good playoff or something, I think there would have been a little bit more chance of me playing football. But felt like, I mean, I was on the U.S. national team too for hockey, so I just felt like I was better at hockey and still enjoyed hockey more, and felt like that was going to be a better option for me going forward.
good stuff. Thanks for this, Andrew.
Yeah, thank you.
Larry Lage.
Hello, Andrew from Ann Arbor.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
You talked a little bit about having faith in this organization. Obviously, they had it in you to give you a long-term contract. Can you just kind of share some more thoughts on, you believing in Steve Yzerman and his plan?
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously Steve, did a great job building the team in Tampa, and not to take anything away from Brisebois, but, Steve was there for a while and kind of drafted a bunch of those guys and turned that into, a big part of where they're at today. So I think, that trust kind of stems from there, and then just kind of seeing the product on the ice the last couple of years. I think with, Raymond and Sider, it really was an influx of talent. And I think, everyone across the league saw it and saw it as an opportunity where, Detroit's going to be good in a couple of years, just wait. And so, I'd like to be a part of that. I'd like to continue to grow with the team, and like I said, just trying to get to that ultimate goal. So a lot of work still left to do, a lot of young players to incorporate. But I think, as Steve showed today, he's ready and willing to get some players and bring them in and add to this group.
Gina Trotman.
This kind of piggybacks off of Larry's last question, but I think I heard earlier in the day you did an interview and you said this isn't a 1 year, this isn't a 2 year deal. Testing free agency and the choices that you could have made, why choose Detroit in the process that they are in?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, there's a couple different instances where it could have been, a team that's a little bit more in win now. And I just felt like the opportunity to continue to grow and, have a leadership role and have a good opportunity compared with the influx of talent and the trajectory that this organization's on. I think, it might take all 5 years. It might take, might be past that, but feel like this organization is headed for, really good things, and then the sky's the limit. So, like I said, it's not a 1 or 2 year decision, it's a 5 year decision. And I'm looking forward to spending all 5 years and hopefully more with the organization and try and get to that ultimate goal.
Ansar Khan.
Yeah, hi, Andrew. Just wondering, has Dillon reached out to you, and just what's it like, just being reunited with him?
Yeah, I talked to him a couple of days ago, kind of seeing, just bouncing ideas off of him and seeing where he's at and everything like that. So it was a really encouraging talk, and he always kind of hinted at getting me to come back home. So we've talked definitely today and talked about the additions, and I think both of us are really excited for where this team's headed. So it's kind of funny just being his captain at Michigan, and now he'll be mine in Detroit. It's pretty cool.
Did that help with the just kind of recruiting process, and his thoughts about the team? And
yeah, I mean, it's just good to hear his thoughts of where the team was, and how I can add and all those types of things. So I don't know if he was necessarily putting on too much of a recruiting pitch, just kind of trying to answer my questions. I think he knew I was interested, and wanted me to make the decision for me at the end of the day. But I think we're both really excited to be back together.
thank you.
John Neo.
I was going to ask about Dillon as well, but I'll ask this instead. I mean, were you a Red Wings fan growing up? And I guess, could you detail a little bit of your childhood fandom, if so?
Yeah, I think, growing up in the Yzerman, Shanahan, Lidstrom, and then into the Datsuk Zetterberg era, I think, I was a huge fan of Detroit growing up, and remember watching a lot, maybe not so much the early Cups, but the 2002 and 2008 you know, championships, I think, you know, was, you know, big parts of my childhood. So it's cool to be coming back home and trying to recreate the magic a little bit, but getting to play for your hometown team is you know, really rare in this league. And I'm just kind of fortunate enough to be able to be one of those guys that gets to do it for, you know, a few years here, and you know, enjoy being around friends and family, you know, the whole year instead of just for a few months in the summer.
Only Bianchi.
Andrew, welcome to Detroit. When you think about, you know, that football career that you alluded to and the broken collarbone and getting into Michigan at the last moment because somebody, I think it was Max Pacioretty, left, to your journey now as a 4th round pick, getting to sign with your hometown team, what do you make of that journey and just how serendipitous and you know, probably surreal, I would imagine it is to be able to have a day like this where you're faxing your contract over to your childhood hero?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think, you know, it's definitely hasn't been a linear progression. It's been, you know, a lot of ebbs and flows, a lot of adversity over the years. And I think, you know, I think my hard work and, you know, willingness to bet on myself and always having that confidence that it's all going to work out and overcome any adversity is, it's pretty cool to be rewarded like this today. So, you know, going to enjoy it today for sure and be around a lot of friends and family, but you know, once tomorrow hits, it's time to get back to work and time to, you know, like I said, like try and impact this team as much as possible in a positive way. And, you know, like I said, try and get this team to the playoffs.
How big of an impact do you think playing at Michigan had on a Red Barons and some really good teams there, you know, Jacob Trouba and all those guys?
Yeah. I mean, I think just the competitiveness day in, day out, getting to practice against some of the best players in the world, really, I think has kind of helped, you know, frame my competitiveness and frame my mindset for handling adversity and those types of things. So definitely helped shape me as a hockey player and as a man.
Art Regner.
Hi, Andrew. I am curious about everybody that grows up wants to probably be a professional athlete and at one point in their life and play for the hometown team. Can you talk about, is it a surreal day for you today, or is this a very satisfying day for you today because you may have accomplished a boyhood dream by being able to put on that Red Wing sweater very, very soon?
Yeah, I think it's I don't know if either one of those doesn't make any, you know, I think both of them make sense. I think as of right now, it's pretty surreal. I think it still hasn't completely set in. It's, you know, 45 minutes down the road for me in Ann Arbor. And it's cool to celebrate with friends and family that have kind of been there, you know, along the way, and, you know, continue to be a huge part to my support system. So now that they'll get to see me play more than, you know, once or twice a year or on the road, I think it'll be really fun to get this thing going right away as soon as possible. And yeah, I just want to start training camp tomorrow.
But, you know, I really want to ask you that. If you look at, we always hear about the mystique of an original 6 team, and obviously everyone here from Detroit, you know, embraces the original 6. And, you know, you played with Winnipeg, and you obviously played with New York. I'm kind of curious, is there that mystique? Is it a different feeling when you played for the Jets, when you walked into an arena or you were facing an original 6 team?
A little bit. I mean, I think, you know, walking around New York, there's definitely a certain mystique, a certain aura, and definitely, you know, in the playoff run, the certain atmosphere in the rink, I think for sure, especially when an original 6 team is doing well. So, and there's a certain expectation, I think, that goes along with that too. So, yeah, really looking forward to just kind of walking around the room and kind of have to pinch myself a little bit walking around in the Detroit Red Wings locker room. So, super exciting time, and can't wait to get everything going, like I said.
When you knew that maybe it wasn't going to work out with the Rangers, you're going to hit free agency, was Detroit at the very top of the list? Did you know what their needs were and that you pretty much fit the bill? Yeah,
I did my homework pretty well at the end of the year and kind of seeing where I fit, you know, across the teams in the league. And I would say Detroit, New York were couple of my teams that were definitely at the top of my list. So, you know, when things with the Rangers didn't really work out, I think it was an easy pivot for me to want to come to Detroit, and we were lucky enough to get something done and that I fit their needs too.
Final question, Luke Glendening, a former Michigan Wolverine captain, much like yourself, and also an excellent high school football player, much like yourself, always said that he missed football. He missed the contact of football, even though he was a professional hockey player. And he said that he had a football player's mentality, but he played hockey. Do you also miss football, and do you have a football player's mentality in your approach to the sport of hockey?
I definitely miss football. I think it was such a great time in my life. I will say though that I think Glenner was a running back or a linebacker where that physicality is a little bit more prevalent. Me being the quarterback, I don't know if the football mentality necessarily translates to hockey as much, except for distributing the puck and making plays with vision and whatnot. So in that aspect, I think a little bit, but I think Glenner is, you know, a perfect example of a guy that just works so hard day in and day out and is such a good leader and leads by example and everything like that. So I don't want to put myself in that category necessarily, but you know, I feel like, you know, I have a lot of those same attributes and you know, want to bring those to Detroit and help the team win.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Welcome to Detroit. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Nate Brown.
Hi, Andrew. You just talked a little bit about leading by example. Red Wings are still a young team. There's a lot of prospects in the pipeline that are coming up. What lessons do you hope to teach them, not only by example, but really like what you've learned, not only at the college level, but also in the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll come out over time. You know, I think first and foremost, you just kind of want to develop relationships with the guys on the team, and definitely not trying to come in and act like you know it all and want to, just share your knowledge with everyone. So it'll be great to, I think, get to meet the guys and get everything started that way. And then from there, I think it's more about the intricacies. It's more about, certain plays or playoff situations and whatnot, how to handle those and how to handle, maybe being down in a series or handling adversity. I think it kind of really depends from player to player. So, I think, I'll have a lot of experience at this point and hopefully have some things that I've learned along the way that I want to share with the guys, but I think that'll kind of come out organically over time. And, as I start to hopefully earn the trust of my teammates and, kind of build this thing together.
And then have you been able to speak to anyone from the new coaching staff yet at all?
Yeah, I talked to Coach Lalonde a little bit today, a little bit yesterday. So, I felt like we really connected, thought about the game a lot of the same way. So definitely looking forward to getting everything started with him.
Thank you.
Last question, Carly Johnston.
Hey, Andrew, welcome to Detroit. I saw on NHL.com that your mom was a figure skating coach and your dad a hockey coach, coached you as a youth. Did you get a lot of coaching from them with your skating and your gameplay, a lot of critiques, and has that helped you growing up?
Yeah, I think I don't think my dad let my mom get anywhere near me. I don't think he wanted me to turn into a figure skater. So she wasn't allowed on the ice with me, but definitely for my dad, I think, I kind of play the way a coach's kid would typically play and try and, be, a no nonsense, do all the right things, play on the right side of the puck, just kind of make the right plays over and over and over again. So I would say my dad had the biggest impact on my career of anyone, and definitely wouldn't be where I am today without him.
As a kid, if you had a bad game, how were those car rides home?
When he was coaching, he was kind of focused on the whole team. So those were better than after he was done coaching me and I played bad because then he was only watching me, and then those car rides got pretty quiet.
All right. Well, I'm sure they're happy to have you home. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Those are all the questions we had. Andrew, thank